You know that feeling when you've got 100 tabs open and your browser is definitely slowing down, maybe even your whole computer, but you just can't bring yourself to close those tabs because they're full of stuff that you really, really want to read or to watch or to come back to, but you never actually find the time to do it? What if the time does exist, but just in the place you're least expecting? Stay with me and I'll show you where. Welcome to the Do More, Stress Less podcast. I'm your host, Alexis Hasselberger, a time management and productivity coach. In every episode, I give you actionable, practical tips to help you learn to use your time in a way that feels good to you every day. No more hustling, scrambling, or struggling to keep your head above water. So let's dive in, and soon enough, you'll be doing more and stressing less. Now, I've been known to preface a statement by saying, I know this is a little crass, but, and I'm going to give you that same caveat here because I'm about to share something that you likely won't want to admit will work because you don't want to admit the premise. Now, look, if you're anything like most of my clients, you've got ambition in spades and not enough time. Over and over, I hear that one of the things that's hardest to make time for at work, aside from strategic thinking time, which I will get into in another episode, is to make time to read all of those industry or just plain interesting articles that you've got sitting in those open tabs. Those tabs are calling your name. They're distracting you, or they're making you feel bad that you're likely not going to read them, even though you really, really want to. And all those open tabs, they are definitely slowing down your browser. That's a fact. But you're not willing to close those tabs because you're not willing to admit that you're not going to really read all of that stuff that you really, really, really want to read, right? Or maybe you have an inbox full of newsletters that you'd like to read one day, but it's clogging up your inbox. It's stressing you out. It's making the signal to noise ratio in your email even worse. And yet, you're not willing to delete those emails because the info inside of them is going to be super interesting. You just know it if you can ever get to it. And so you find yourself in this position. What can you do? Now, here comes the crass part. I want you to read this stuff on the toilet. Look, I know you bring your phone into the bathroom. We all do it. It's okay to admit it. We have all pooped while scrolling Instagram. So hear me out. What if instead of scrolling, you use that bathroom time to catch up on all those articles and newsletters? All that industry news that you want to catch up on but are afraid you'll never get to? Now, I hear you coming up with all sorts of rebuttals in your head. That's so gross. I would never. Yes, you would. And yes, you do. But those tabs are on my computer. I don't want to bring my laptop into the bathroom. Yes, agreed. And I'm going to show you why you don't need to. So how can you make this easier? Well, there is a lesser known Google Chrome feature, so Chrome the browser, called Chrome Reading List. And Chrome has solved this problem of keeping a bajillion tabs open so that you can read it later. So there's this sneaky little feature, the reading list. And this feature allows you to save any tab to read later with just one click, allowing you to close the tab but not lose the link. And when you're done reading it, when you go back to it, all you got to do is check it off and it'll disappear. This feature is great because it can be used on mobile and desktop, right? It syncs between them so you do not have to bring your laptop into the bathroom, right? And if you just Google Chrome Reading List, you will find out how to set this up. It just takes, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds. You can also add videos. So if you have YouTube videos, etc., things that you wanting to watch later, you can add that to the Chrome reading list too, without fear that you'll never find it again, and also helping you to not watch it right now because of this fear. And what about all those newsletters that are clogging up your inbox? Well, here's what you can do. You can enable a read later label or a folder if you're in the Microsoft world. And then you set up a filter so that you can have those emails skip your inbox and go into this label or this folder, right? Now, if you're getting newsletters in your inbox and you really, really want to read them at some point and you don't want them cluttering up your inbox, set up that filter. Have it skip the inbox, label it, or automatically file it as to read later, maybe, or whatever works for you. Hot tip, if you get my newsletter, don't do that with my emails. They're practical and they have a TLDR at the top. And I know you want that actionable info. How do I know? Because folks frequently reply to my newsletters and tell me that it is the only newsletter that they receive that they actually open and read. If you're not getting it, well, go ahead and subscribe. You can click on a link in the show notes. Now, I want to give you one more little pro tip. And this one I'm taking from a book called The Anti-Planner by Danny Donovan. And let me just tell you that I felt very seen when I read this because this is something I've been doing for as long as I've had a smartphone. And this is to do one small task from your task list while you're on the toilet. Yes, seriously. So many tasks bloating up our task list take 2 minutes or less. Just yesterday, I emailed the pediatrician while I was on the toilet to follow up about my kids' lab results. Double duty or duty. Okay, so sorry. I just could not help myself, but if you are still listening to me, I'm going to guess that you find poop puns more funny than disgusting. So, if you're ready, go ahead, enact the things that I talked about today, get that Chrome reading list, and start using your toilet time for something more than doom scrolling. If you're loving this podcast, I'd really appreciate it if you took just a moment to give it a 5-star review. This isn't a vanity metric, although, of course, I want to know if you like it. Your reviews help other listeners find the show. It really makes a difference. So your review is a sort of pay it forward type of good deed.